Legal observers. It's a term many of us heard for the first time as the Immigration and Customs Enforcement surged its agents into Minnesota over the past 2 months. But legal observers have been around for years, documenting what happens in protest around the country, including here in Milwaukee. Here to help us understand the role of legal observers is Emilio Del Torre, Executive Director of Milwaukee's Turners, one of the local organizations training legal observers. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
What does a legal observer do?
It's a good question. Legal observers generally provide nonpartisan civic monitoring of law enforcement interactions with civilians. So you can think of them as quality assurance in that, as law enforcement, whatever they are, city, county, state, federal, are interacting with folks in a demonstration or a protest or a strike or a walkout. You want to make sure that they too are obeying and honoring the constitutionally protected rights of the individuals demonstrating. Law enforcement's generally paid a lot of money, and so it's nice that there are individuals who volunteer their time that are able to observe them in these interactions and document, record any abuse or misuse, and then share that with the appropriate authorities.
How are legal observers trained, and how many have you trained at Milwaukee Turner?
So career-wise, thousands and thousands of folks I've trained. I started legal observer programming here with the ACLU and in many other programs across different states in addition to Wisconsin. We have a very rigorous training. It is 90 minutes to 2 hours. We take it very seriously. We at the Milwaukee Turners, I believe we've trained about 700 at this point. We're on track to have 1,000 towards the end of March, which is beautiful. They've all taken the same training. They're all clearly marked, wearing their reflective vests when they go out. We go out in twos and threes. We obey all traffic laws, which is my least favorite part. You can tell from my accent. I grew up in New York. I have it written in my DNA to jaywalk. I do not jaywalk when we are legal observing. And folks go out in teams and pairs. So if you're new to this, you'll go out with a more seasoned legal observer so that you feel comfortable and you learn how to monitor and record correctly, how to share this, what exactly you're looking for. It's not like, you're bird watching and you're documenting every law enforcement officer everywhere. He scratches his eye, he walked 3 paces. That's ridiculous. And generally, it's just a nice day to get out and meet some like-minded individuals and see our democracy in action.
Legal observers really stay on the fringes, on the edge. They're not participating in a protest, but they're in a place where they can really see, because there are groups of them, what is happening within the protest and how law enforcement is responding.
Yeah, so it's vital. I'm not very tall. I'm about 5'8". If I'm in the midst of a demonstration, I can't see what's going on. I might see some signs close up in front of me, some, wacky wigs or stuff happening. So you want to be positioned at a distance to observe. And generally, if it's a stationary demonstration, it's in a park, you have folks in the perimeter of the park staying in communication with one another, documenting and observing. If it's a moving demonstration, they're on the sidewalks adjacent to the people marching or ahead. Sometimes I like to get elevated. So if it's stationary, I might run up to the roofs of publicly accessible buildings and you can see what's going on. You never know. And with the preponderance of new surveillance technologies, you don't know what you're going to see. I mean, not that long ago, we saw sharpshooters mounted on a rooftop across from where demonstrators were speaking. We've seen large police sharpshooters. We've seen, all the new drones that law enforcement is carrying, and you see different types of surveillance where different elements of law enforcement might be monitoring a demonstration. We did a training the other day on First Amendment rights for protesters and demonstrators with several of the Milwaukee County supervisors and the chief of police and the sheriff of Milwaukee County. And in the presentation from Deputy Holton, they mentioned that just like journalists, legal observers have a right to be there. You're going to see them doing their thing. It's a constitutionally protected activity. And I believe that our years of showing up and being an integral part of the scene here in Wisconsin, but specifically in Milwaukee, have earned us that moniker of something to be accepted as a part of this tapestry.
If people are interested in learning more about becoming a legal observer, what can they do?
Easy peasy. Go to our social media. We trained another 100 just this week at Bayview Library. We have another big training coming up March 1st. I have a training tonight at the MLK Library. Well, these are hundreds more individuals from the community that want to get involved. This may be a good way for you to get involved and come do your part. I say this all the time, democracy is a muscle, and if you don't use it, it atrophies. But you
Well,
can follow us on walkieturners.org, or you can check our social media on Instagram or Facebook. There's a lot of different things we do. There are a lot of free things we do for the community. This is one small fraction of the things that the Milwaukee Turners offer and have offered since our beginning in 1853.
well, thank you for doing this work, making sure people's rights are protected as they protest. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we're right back.